450 private companies are working in the space sector, launching and satellite building. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet has approved the Chandrayaan-4 mission, which is expected to be completed in 36 months, for which the government has allocated 2,104.06 crore rupees, including to Chandrayaan-4 spacecraft, to LVM-3 rockets, space network and design verification for continuous communication with Chandrayaan-4. Chandrayaan-4 will not be launched in one go, it will be launched in two parts, after which its modules will be docked in space. This technology will help in building the Indian space station in the future. The goal is to send humans to the moon by 2040. Chandrayaan-4 will be sent in pieces to space and added to space itself. Through this mission, ISRO will return to Earth with samples from the moon. By adding and separating modules in space, it will be beneficial that in the future the Indian space station, bus, will be built with this method. It is part of the government's and ISRO's Vision 2047 to build an Indian space station, bus, by 2035. By 2040, we can send an Indian to the moon, that too with our own technology and capability. Indian space station to be built by connecting 5 parts. The Indian space station will be launched into space in several pieces. The first part will be sent to space via LVM-3 rocket. Its first launch is expected to take place in 2028. A separate proposal is being prepared for this, which will be sent to the government for approval. The Indian space station will be built by connecting 5 different parts. ISRO's plan to send a manned mission to the moon will be a major step in India's space program. The mission aims to not only showcase India's space capabilities but also provide new opportunities for science and research. At the moment, after the Chandrayaan missions, ISRO is working on several aspects for the manned mission. Here are the key stages of ISRO's manned mission to the moon. Success of Gaganyaan mission. Before the manned mission to the moon, ISRO's main goal is to make the Gaganyaan mission successful, which will be India's first manned space mission. The objective of the Gaganyaan mission is to send 3 Indian astronauts to Earth's orbit and bring back safely. The mission includes a number of technical and safety tests which will also help in preparation for the manned lunar mission. Life-saving systems, life support systems. Sending humans to the moon requires that the spacecraft have well-developed life support systems, such as oxygen supply, temperature control and radiation protection. The technologies that are being developed for the Gaganyaan mission will also be useful for future lunar missions. Experience and data from the Chandrayaan mission. The experience and data gained from missions such as Chandrayaan-1 and Chandrayaan-2 can be used in planning human missions to the moon. Chandrayaan-3, which successfully landed on the south pole of the moon in 2023, has also provided crucial data about the moon's surface and its environment. Lander and rover technology on the moon. ISRO is also constantly improving the lander and rover technologies. A safe landing system will be essential for the manned mission to the moon, which will be based on the experience gained from the Chandrayaan missions. Apart from this, rover technology can also be used to help in manned missions, so that scientific experiments can be conducted on the surface of the moon. Collaborations and partnerships. ISRO can plan collaborations with various international space agencies for manned missions to the moon, such as NASA, ESA, European Space Agency, etc. This partnership will boost technical knowledge, resources, and security. Long-term research. ISRO can plan long-term research on the moon, including the possibility of life on the moon's surface, the presence of water, and mineral resources. This may create possibilities of human settlements on the moon in the future. Astronaut training and healthcare. To send humans to the moon, India will have to train its astronauts, including working in microgravity, staying in space for long periods, and healthcare. Together with Russia, India has started training astronauts, which can prove to be helpful in the lunar mission. ISRO's manned mission to the moon is a long and technically challenging process for the future. Many tests, missions, and technological developments will be necessary for its success. Missions like Gaganyaan are the cornerstone of all these plans, which can make India's manned mission to the moon possible in the next decade. ISRO's plans and approach related to the manned mission to the moon are quite comprehensive and strategic. Let's talk about some of the key aspects of this mission in some more depth. Chandrayaan 4 and Chandrayaan 5 after Gaganyaan. After the Gaganyaan mission, ISRO may look at the possibilities of missions like Chandrayaan 4 and Chandrayaan 5, including testing the environment on the moon to be conducive for humans and testing life support systems. These missions can also help in the search for habitable places on the surface of the moon, the potential for energy resources, and the construction of structures. Using more advanced instruments in Chandrayaan 4 or Chandrayaan 5, even difficult regions like the south pole of the moon can be examined. Plans to build a base camp on the lunar surface. In the future, if a long-term manned mission to the moon is planned, a base camp will need to be built. This base camp will have facilities such as human accommodation, research work, and energy supply. The structures can be tried to be formed through in-site resource utilization, ISRO, using minerals and other resources present on the surface of the moon. This technology will be helpful in the stability of the base camp and reducing the cost. Technology needed to survive on the surface of the moon. Special types of spacesuits, residential modules, and other equipment will be required for protection from heavy temperature differences and radiation on the moon. ISRO has started research on spacesuits and other essential safety equipment in collaboration with DRDO, Defense Research and Development Organization. In addition, plans are being made to use the icy water present under the surface of the moon for oxygen and water, so that the habitable environment can be created for humans. Fuel and energy sources. The management of energy is very important for the success of the human mission to the moon. Apart from solar energy, ISRO may also search for a rare element called helium-3. Helium-3 can be used as a nuclear fusion reactor, capable of generating large amounts of energy. In addition, India can study possible fuel sources on the moon to meet the mission's energy needs and store fuel for other missions to the moon. Science laboratories and research stations on the moon. Under the plan to build a research center on the moon, scientists and researchers can conduct various scientific tests on the moon away from the Earth. These will include studying radiation levels, estimating the effect of gravity, and testing samples of the lunar surface. In addition, experiments involving metallurgy, biology, and geophysics can be conducted in the moon's atmosphere, discovering new ways to reduce the limits of Earth's resources in the future. Human health and challenges of long-term lunar missions. There are many health risks associated with human presence on the moon, such as weakening of muscles and bones in microgravity, disorders arising from radiation, and effects on mental health. It is necessary to develop specialized technology and tools to deal with these challenges. It is also important to take care of the right diet, physical exercise, and mental health to stay in space for a long time. For this, ISRO can conduct studies and technical cooperation with various international agencies. International collaborations and partnerships. A manned mission to the moon is an extremely expensive and complex task, for which global cooperation is crucial to make it successful. ISRO can partner with space agencies of other countries, such as NASA, ESA, Roscosmos, and JAXA, which will increase the possibility of cost reduction and better utilization of resources. At the same time, the resources discovered on the moon can be used for the collective benefit of humanity, thereby developing a global approach to space exploration. Financial and technical challenges. The manned mission to the moon requires massive funding and cutting-edge technological development. ISRO's budget is relatively low compared to other agencies like NASA and ESA, but ISRO has always provided economically affordable solutions. This will be a big but important investment for India. It will also require financial support from the Government of India, international partners, and the private sector to ensure a timely and successful completion of the mission. ISRO's manned mission to the moon could prove to be a landmark achievement in India's space program. This mission will bring new possibilities and challenges in the field of science, education, and space research. With the success of this mission, India can emerge as a space superpower and will be able to take steps towards sending human missions to Mars and other planets in the future. ISRO's manned mission to the moon is as ambitious from a science and technological point of view, as it is a symbol of national pride, global cooperation and future prospects. Let us know in more detail what kind of goals and challenges ISRO can include in this mission. Special vehicles for landing and takeoff on the moon. Landing and takeoff is an important aspect in a manned mission to the moon. This will require a lander and launch vehicle that can also work in the low gravity of the moon. ISRO can work on how the vehicle can easily take off back towards Earth after landing on the moon. Using data from Chandrayaan-3's landing experience, ISRO can design a better lander and rover. Development of the communication system on the moon. The development of the communication system on the moon is a major challenge, as there is a distance of about 3.84 lakh kilometers between the Earth and the moon. A stable and fast communication system will be necessary, so that astronauts can be in constant contact with the Earth. For this, a special lunar communication network, such as the Lunar Satellite Network, can be established, which will strengthen data transmission between the Earth and the Moon. Orbital module for manned mission. In missions to the Moon, it has been seen many times that an orbital module, a vehicle located in the Earth's orbit, is used to land on the Moon and back. ISRO can prepare an orbital module that will send astronauts to the surface of the Moon and then return them to the Moon's orbit. This model could also provide an infrastructure for a permanent human presence on the Moon in the future. Lunar Insight Resource Utilization, ISRO, technology. The technology to harness the resources available on the lunar surface, called Insight Resource Utilization, will be crucial for the human mission. The main purpose of this technique is to produce some resources on the Moon itself. For example, the development of technology to make water, oxygen, and fuel from the soil there. This could significantly reduce the cost of long-duration lunar missions. Major areas of experimentation and research on the Moon. Many scientific experiments and research can be carried out through a manned mission to the Moon. Some of these key areas are: study of astrophysics and cosmic radiation. The atmosphere of the Moon is almost negligible, so from here it will be easier to study astrophysics and understand the effect of radiation. Medical research, to study the effects of the Moon's microgravity on the human body, so that preparations can be made for future long space missions. Discovery of water and other minerals on the Moon. The presence of water at the south pole of the Moon has been explored, and understanding its other mineral resources will be very important for future missions. Special training of Indian astronauts. Indian astronauts will need several types of training for a manned mission to the Moon. This will include training to work in microgravity, protect against radiation, and live in the harsh environment of the Moon. India is already training the astronauts of the Gaganyaan mission in partnership with Russia. International cooperation and training program for lunar missions can also be enhanced so that Indian astronauts are able to handle difficult conditions. Radiation protection technology. The Moon does not have a protective magnetic layer like Earth, so radiation levels are quite high there. During the manned mission, special suits, shelters, and other protection equipment will be required to protect against radiation. ISRO is developing radiation protection technologies, including modular shelters, and the use of anti-radiation material, to safeguard the health of its astronauts. Robotic assistive and the use of AI technology. Robots and AI can be used to save time and energy in manned missions to the Moon. With the help of these robots, scientific experiments, construction, and other technical work can be accelerated. AI can be used for mapping the surface on the Moon, identifying resources, and solving unseen obstacles. These robotic and AI-based assisted humans can make the mission safe and effective. Human settlements on the Moon and future plans. ISRO's long-term plan may include the establishment of permanent manned settlements on the Moon. Under this, habitable structures will be built for long-term scientific and industrial activities. These settlements will be able to use the natural resources of the Moon, and it can also become the basis of human missions to Mars and other planets in the future. Economic and strategic benefits associated with the Moon. A manned mission to the Moon also has many economic and strategic benefits. Through this, India can compete with other countries in the field of space resources. The exploration of mineral and other resources on the moon will give India an opportunity to develop a space economy, which will strengthen the country's technological and economic position. ISRO's manned mission to the moon is a long-term and far-reaching plan that can give a new dimension to India's space capabilities and scientific contributions. This mission will establish India as a global space power as well as lay a strong foundation for future space exploration.